Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. This song is called The Impossible, and the producer is Savik, S-A-V-F-K. This song fits this theme perfectly. Victory is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. People are starting to wake up. The seedlings are sprouting. They're starting to become stronger. Some of us have overcome a lot of the damage that was done, and we are a lot sharper, have much greater clarity, and we are strong. Do you know what it is? We are realizing the power that we have always had. And now we are using it. And there's nothing the enemy can do ever again. From this point forward, we're just going to keep getting stronger. More of us are waking up, and they're joining the troops, and the group, the whole, is becoming much, much more powerful. So today we're going to talk about Leviathan, okay? I'm going to give you, let's see, what do we got here? 12 different points on Leviathan and what he does. And you're gonna see something that a lot of you that have followed my channel have been seeing for years now. This music is really, really empowering. Just so you know, it's gonna go down in about 2 more minutes. It's gonna get a little bit quieter. So there's a really big realization that I've been having over the last, I'm going to say, about 2 weeks now. Personally, I went through a shift. It started probably in January, late December, when I kind of faded away, didn't make any videos. And I even made a video that said, hey, something has changed in me, something shifted, I'm not really sure what it is. And I said, I've noticed a lot of other people on YouTube and social media, they're kind of stuck. Where it wasn't a stuck feeling, it was actually a feeling of absolute freedom. But it was kind of like, okay, so where do we go now? So what that shift was for me personally is there was another level of inner conflict that completely healed. It is gone. It's, for the first time in my life, it's, how do I explain this? There's no need to push. There's no need to pull. I'm just here. Inside, it's like, it really, I feel it in my belly, in my solar plexus area, my heart area. It's soft, it's smooth, it just feels good. I don't know how to explain that. But I do know what it is, and I do know what it means. It means I've taken my foot off the brakes, and my foot is now on the gas pedal. Alright, let's go. Let's destroy what's been destroying us our entire lives. And it's a lot easier than you think. And most of you on this channel are already probably 3/4 of the way through it. You're already winning. You're already winning this battle, and you may not realize it because you might be like, Mike, but it still sucks. Yeah, it might still suck, but I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And for most of you on this channel, you are a lot closer than you think. So the Leviathan spirit, it takes over your mind, body, and spirit. And in general, it took over the people that were close to us, to our lives. So what I'm going to share with you is what happened to them and what you experienced when dealing with these people. Number one, so you can see it a lot faster. And number two, to show you something that's here now that we call a narcissist. That's always been here. That's just a different name. It's like changing the name Ford to Toyota, or just like, it's the same car, it's the same company. So when we talk about the Bible, most people think that, oh well, this stuff in the Bible, that was like 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and it's going to come somewhere in the future after I'm dead, you know, all this end the times. And no, that's the mistake. And that's the mistake, the confusion, the blinding that narcissists did to us for centuries, for 2,000 plus years. is they twisted things to where, oh, well, this is what happened back then, and one day, sometime in the future, And you think, well, yeah, it's back. It's gonna no. The spirit of Leviathan has always been here. It's here today. It's here yesterday. It's here in the 2010s, the 2000s, 1990, 1980, 1970, 60, 50, 40, 30, 10, 1800s, 1700s, 1500s, 1200s. You know, it goes all the way back, even before Christ, even before the book of the Bible was written. It's been here almost since the beginning of time. Okay, and that's what you have to understand. See, one thing I realized is the Bible was warning us for right now. Even if it was 1975, for right now, okay? It wasn't saying, oh, someday. No, it's saying, look, here's how you recognize the spirit of Leviathan. Here's how you recognize the spirit of Jezebel. Everything in the Bible from Cain killed Abel, right? From the serpent in the garden, all of this is talking about the same beings and the same creatures that we've been dealing with our entire lives, and saying, hey, here's how you recognize them by the Spirit. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I am going to give you 12 points on how to recognize them right now. My biggest complaint, I'm going to say the B word, ladies, forgive me, but my biggest bitch with the church right now is why in the hell are they not shouting from the rooftops all of this and saying, hey, this is what narcissists are. These are the narcissists, and the narcissist. What I'm going to read off to you, you're going to be like, oh, I recognize all of that. See, when you read the Bible, you just think, well, this is ancient stuff, and someday the book of Revelation says, something like this is going to happen. No, it was warning you. The problem is, narcissists have outsmarted people and said, oh, well, now, instead of, hey, my name's Mike, and then, oh, okay, they're on to me now. Oh, my name is Steve Franco. So they changed their name, and that's all they did. They just changed the name. It's the same beings. And this is why I don't understand why, especially now in the last 5 to 10 years, when this has been exploding in social media all over the world, that the church is not now saying, hey, we know who this is. In fact, this Leviathan, these 12 points I'm going to point out, you're going to be like, wow, this is exactly what has happened to me. Because it's not like, oh, they're here now. No, they have always been here. And the confusion was, oh, it was ancient or it was going to be in the future. No, the Bible was saying, hey, wake up. You need to look around. This is on the planet and has always been here. Here's how you ward them off. Here's how you see them first. This is how you avoid them, etc., etc. All right, so number 1, the spirit of Leviathan twists the truth. Okay, so the spirit of Leviathan twists the truth. While it's true all evil spirits are liars, and I am reading this off, I wrote this down, the Leviathan spirit specializes in twisting the truth in the minds of its victims without them even realizing it. Okay? It twists intentions and conversations. Someone can tell them something and they hear something different. So here's essentially what happens. Have you ever had a conversation, and I'm sure you have, where you're saying A and they start to argue about something that you didn't say, and they're really mad at you, and you're like, look, I didn't say that. Like, oh, yeah, you did. And you're like, no, I didn't. I literally said blah, blah, blah. Like, well, you may have said that, but you meant something else. These are people that are extremely argumentative, and no matter how hard you try to reach them, you can't, because it's like there's a filter in front of their eyes or in front of their brain that literally twists things into something that you didn't say or didn't do. This is why it is a complete waste of time trying to work things out, talk to them. You can't. They're under a demonic spirit, okay, that is twisting things. The spirit of Leviathan is literally in their mind. It's inside their brain. It's inside their heart. It's inside their body. There's nothing you can do to add clarity. There's nothing that you can do to get them to understand you. The only thing you can do is this. Number 1, walk away. Number 2, block them. Never deal with them again. Number 3, pray for them. Because here's the problem. Here's the challenge. There is the person inside, yes, okay? And here's what it does. What it does is the Leviathan pulls away and lets the real person come out and talk to you. So you start to get to know this person and you start to like this person because they probably are a good person. So that's the trap. It allows them to draw you in with who they really are, and then boom, once you're inside, they catch you. And now Leviathan comes out and starts screwing with you and starts messing with your head, because Leviathan is now trying to get inside your head, literally. So when you're having conversations with people where they're literally twisting what you just said into something that you did not say, run, get away, walk and block. Do not deal with them. There is nothing that you can do. When they twist the truth into a lie, when they change what you said, etc., etc., get away. That is the sign. Now, here's the deal. If you are someone who has the spirit of Leviathan, now for most of you on my channel, you're empaths, do not worry about it. You were the ones that were attacked by these people and you ran away, okay? You may have dealt with them for years, but you figured it out, okay? So don't think I'm talking about you, I'm not. For those of you who do have this spirit in them, or the Jezebel spirit, or any of them, pray from your heart and soul to God. Turn yourself over to God. It's the only thing that you can do. God will take this spirit out of you. Trust me, they will bring a healer into your life. They will bring a monk into your life. Something will happen, if not God just flat out pulling that spirit out of you. And you will notice a shift. And so will all the people around you. So let me tell you something. I was praying about something different that was going on in my life, and it was really affecting me on an emotional level, and it's gone. It is, man, but it's like boom, it's just, there's a shift. It's like I said, it's smooth, it's soft, it's clarity. You know, the word I want to use or phrases like absolute peace. I guess they call it inner peace. I'm going to make a quick suggestion, then move on to number 2. Right now, in this time, we are in a moment in time. I don't know if it's going to last a month, a week, or a couple months. We are in a time right now where prayer is very, very effective. I felt that a few days ago, a week ago, and I said, I'm just going to pray on this. And it happened. It was like there was a shift about maybe 24 hours later, and then it kept moving, and then boom, it's gone. Alright, number 2, the spirit of Leviathan is the covenant breaker. Okay, so the spirit of Leviathan is tasked with breaking covenants. One of the primary missions of the demonic spirit is to destroy and break covenants. Leviathan hates covenants of any kind, especially the marriage covenant. It is responsible for nearly all, if not all divorces. The person working under the influence of Leviathan is so prideful that they can't admit when they're wrong. They play the blame game, and it's always someone else's fault. Now, doesn't that sound very, very familiar? Both number 1 and 2 are what narcissists do. Alright, so the only thing I want to add to that is this. Because as I look back, and I've already shared this in a couple of videos, whenever I'd bring a new girl over, someone I was meeting and dating, and eventually I'd bring her over to meet my mom and my family, is all of a sudden everything went to hell. I mean, it just went to hell. Like, I could be dating for 2 months, just absolutely, and all of a sudden everything just started to turn. Well, I told you there was a girl that I met, Jennifer, and I had brought her over, and in fact, I think she wanted to meet my family. I think she requested it. And it was probably my friend Greg. I probably urged her on because she was friends with Greg's girlfriend. That's how, you know, they set me up with her on a date, etc. So she was, I think she had a master's degree in psychology, if I remember right. And so she came over, and my mom made us sandwiches, and my sister, and then I got up to go to the bathroom about maybe 5-10 minutes. Maybe, I don't think it was 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes later. And here's what happened. So I come out of the bathroom, and Jennifer was standing up with her purse in her arms. I remember her arms were crossed and clutched. And she's like, Michael, take me home. I'm like, Jennifer, you're being rude to my mom. She made you a lunch. And she goes, Michael, I don't care. Take me home right now. Now, Jennifer was a confident young lady, and she wasn't putting up with any shit. So she said, you either take me home now, or I'm going to call a taxi. Or she goes, I'm going to walk down to the nearest gas station or whatever and call a taxi. And I said, okay, it's fine. I kind of look at my mom like, sorry. And so we get in the car, and I'm fumed. I'm pissed. So I started in with saying, hey, that was pretty rude, blah, blah. She goes, Michael, you don't understand. She just cut me off. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? She goes, before you even closed the door to the bathroom, your mother started saying horrible things about you, blah, 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 blah. And she just started saying all this stuff. And I was like, and now I'm thinking, and I even said, it's like, why would my mom say that? And so it was just, I couldn't believe it. And so my friend Greg had known me since middle school. Now, we had graduated from high school. I think we were 21, 22, 23. I don't know how old we were. And, or maybe I might have been a little bit younger, actually. So, no, I think I was about 21. So, Greg had told me, he goes, I knew, because Jennifer went back and reported and told him what happened. He goes, dude, I knew something wasn't right. He goes, you were the hardest working guy that I'd ever seen in my life. He goes, you were always good in sports. Everyone loved you, blah, blah, but you just, you didn't have this confidence about you that you should have with all the accomplishments that you had. He goes, I knew something was wrong. So I wish I was wise enough to really take that to heart and be like, oh, I see what's going on. But it's just, I was a young man. I loved my mom. I loved my sister. I just thought I would give the world to them if I could. I would do anything for them. And it wasn't enough for me to see what was going on. So then I met someone else who I fell in love, because Jennifer and I ended up breaking up. I think it was because of that, actually. And so, sure enough, here's what happened. So one day I went to visit my mom, and she had called me, and she said, hey, I went to your girlfriend's work. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, she works in Fairfield. I'm like, no, she works here in town. She goes, no, she's got a job. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, my girlfriend had just gotten a part-time job at a donut shop, and she hadn't told me yet. So I go, where are you talking about? She goes, oh, and she told me exactly where it was. And I noticed my girlfriend wasn't very open to me. And I was like, well, and I didn't, again, like an idiot, I didn't put the pieces together. But now that I've been through this narcissist abuse, and I've learned what it's about, I can look back and reflect and go, oh my God, that happened to my high school girlfriend. The day she met my mom, we spent the weekend over at my mom's house. She was ice cold, and I was like, what's wrong with her? And she couldn't wait to get back home. And we had the perfect relationship. In fact, there was a big deal on campus where we had this perfect relationship, and we never had an argument. Well, we started having arguments from that point forward, and it went to shit. I'm going to tell you something right now. The number one reason that couples that truly fall in love fall out of love is because somebody whispered in someone's ear. You two have got to have the talk about this section right here, number 2. Have them listen to this if you have to, okay? Just this second section right here, if that's all they're going to listen to. You need to let them know, like, hey, I'm an empath, and these people are narcissists. They're Leviathans. A narcissist has the spirit of Leviathan in them. That's what makes them a narcissist. Now, there's different kinds of narcissists. There's a Jezebel narcissist, etc., etc. But so let's stick on the subject. So you need to talk to them and say, hey, if anyone comes to you and talks shit behind my back, you need to come to me, and we need to go confront them. Because they are the masters of division. One example is me, when I was in kickboxing, my mom's boyfriend started coming to practices, holding pads. He built a ring for us, and he went to a couple of fights. My coach said, hey, you want to be a cornerman? So we got him licensed, and he was really, really into it, man. He was a Harley rider, and he and I started to bond. Now, this was a threat to my mom, so she started whispering sweet nothings in his ear against me, and then when he wasn't there, she did it to me, and my brother Joey came up like, all of a sudden, and I was like, why is Mikey so pissed? His name's Mikey too, by the way. Why is Mikey so pissed off at me? And that's how his nickname was Mikey, mine was just Mike. And he goes, and my brother Joey goes, don't you know what's going on? I'm like, what do you? He goes, anytime someone gets close, mom gets in between. So when you're not here, she's saying shit to his ear, saying that you said this about him. And then when he's not here, she's doing the same to you, saying he's talking shit about you. And then when you guys come together, you guys are untrusting. And then you look at, oh yeah, because we were looking at each other like we didn't trust each other. And that made us both look guilty. I mean to each other. And you know what? That is a really slick play that narcissists do to us. Alright, next up, a narcissist or Leviathan severs your relationship with God. Alright, so let me read this off, then I'm going to add something. So it separates you from God, and it hardens your heart to God. It twists scripture, whispering lies about God, stirring up feelings of anger, bitterness, and unforgiveness, and resentment, okay? So I never had that harden my heart to God, but, and this is what I think a lot of you guys had as well, because some of you have said this, or posted it. So what I've taught you in the past is, you get cut off from God now as an empath. So what happened to us was the narcissist kept attacking our emotions and hurting our emotions, and what happened is we got hurt so much and so bad that we ran to our left brain, and this is not what humans do to protect you from getting hurt too much emotionally. So you close the door like a narcissist and to your right brain, to your emotions, and now you don't feel emotions. You're kind of cold and everything goes black, okay? Because the right brain's about colors and sounds and flavors and tastes and smells and the vibrancy, the vitality of life. So when you run to your left logical hemisphere, you don't have any of that, and the right brain is the open door, the connection to God. So once you get stuck in your left brain out of fear, you are now disconnected from God, and that is the goal of Leviathan / the narcissist. Here is the battle. The battle is light and dark, evil versus good. If for evil to win, they have to put you in a state of fear. Now, I've talked about this in the past. The number one way that you beat evil, and I don't mean just in your own life, but on the planet, is by opening up to love, to becoming happy. The happier you become, the more you open up to your right brain. Now remember, when you laugh and you smile and you're feeling emotional states of love, it relaxes your body, it relaxes your arteries, it relaxes your veins, it relaxes your muscles. It also relaxes your lungs and I forget what they call it, but I'm going to call them the opening holes where you breathe in oxygen that goes through the lungs into your bloodstream, and now it oxygenates your bloodstream. And what that does is it opens the artery in the lower reptilian brain and allows more blood to flow up into the larger human brain, thus opening you up to the right brain. One thing I want to say right now is there is a battle that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years, and we are on the verge of winning this battle. There's no doubt it's going to happen. The way you make it happen is by opening up to love, listening to music, being happy, thinking positive thoughts, reading good books. Because it's like, how do I say this? Hold on. It's energy. So when you walk out in public in that state on an unconscious level, other people around you pick up on that and their artery opens up, and also they're more conscious. And this is how you raise the consciousness, the Christ consciousness or vibration of the planet. So how do you beat evil? Happiness, love, and joy. It raises you to a higher intelligence, increases your awareness, and now you can see them. And then they start to run. It's literally like turning on a light, and the darkness cannot be in the light. It runs from the light. Okay, number 4, the spirit of Leviathan makes people stiff-necked. What that means is it makes them very stubborn. Alright, so the spirit of Leviathan makes people very stubborn, makes them believe that they know more than anyone else, and as always believe they are right, and also don't want to do anything unless it was their idea first. Have you ever dealt with someone who is just completely stubborn about everything? Well, you're dealing with the spirit of Leviathan. And again, it also says let me reread it. It makes them always believe that they are right, and also don't want to do anything unless it was their idea first. Alright, so I'm just going to add this piece to it. So there was a guy who was quoting the Bible like he was a scriptural God, like he was the Bible, like had his doctorate degree in biblical studies. And well, he wasn't quoting scripture, but he was saying, oh, well, the Bible's just a bunch of fairy tales and fake stories and made up stories. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so he just went on and on. I'm like, well, no, he's, oh, you're just making stuff up. That's not real. I don't believe in that stuff. And so I realized no matter what I could say to this guy, like, he didn't want to hear it. Mind you, I didn't bring up the conversation, he did. So, but there was something I caught. I said, where did you get your biblical? Because everything he said, like with such authority, and I called him on it. I said, wow, you speak with such authority about the Bible. He kind of shrugged, and I go, where did you get your biblical doctorate degree from? What biblical university did you go to? And he goes, well, I didn't. I'm like, well, I mean, you got your master's degree in biblical studies, right? He goes, well, no. I go, well, your bachelor's? I go, well, what university or college, biblical college did you go to? He goes, well, I didn't. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I've never read the Bible. And that actually shocked me. I had assumed he had actually read it for a while and just said, oh, F this. I go, wait a minute. I go, well, you've read a little bit. He goes, no. He goes, I've never read it at all. He goes, I go, why? He goes, I told you, I don't believe in it. And I said, but you speak with such authority, literally as if you have your doctorate degree in biblical studies. And he got really quiet, and I was like, so I go, wait a minute, so you've never read the Bible? I go, you do know that this prophecy's already came true. This one came true a few years ago, and this one came true like the Euphrates River right now. I go, it's all over social media. It's all over the news. And he was like, what? I go, go turn on, look, Google this, do a search on YouTube. It's all over YouTube. And I mentioned how Joe Rogan's been doing podcasts. I go, even Joe Rogan, who years ago would laugh and say that, oh, this is just fairy tales, blah, blah. He is now going, wait a minute, I did not know that. There are so many prophecies that have already come true, and especially in the recent years have been coming true. And I'm like, well, so these people don't know anything. So here's the point. This guy was a perfect example of stubborn people believe they know more than anyone else and always believe they are right, and also don't want to do anything unless it was their idea first. This guy, without zero knowledge, was a biblical scholar, yet he knew nothing about it. Yet he felt like he was the authority, and that's the way he spoke about it. And when I brought all this stuff up, it shut him down. He was like, oh, and he literally was, oh, I didn't know that. So I challenge you to challenge these people and say, well, what biblical university did you go to get your biblical doctorate degree from? And I'm like, what? I go, and then just say, well, you speak with such authority about the Bible, like for how long? And here's another one. Say, how long have you studied the Bible, and with what church have you been associated to, and what where you went to study the Bible at? And I'm like, well, and the thing is, when he said, I told you I don't believe in the Bible, I've never read it, that's when he trapped himself. It wasn't even a trap. It was just, he just admitted something, thinking like, oh, well, I told you, with an arrogance of I don't believe in it. Now here's the deal. I don't care if anyone believes in the Bible or not. I'm not going to knock them for that. I say, okay, if you don't believe in it, that's fine. But don't come across as the almighty, all God-given authority of something you know nothing about. That's where I'm like, what are you talking about? Alright, number 5. The spirit of Leviathan makes people hard-hearted and cold. So what this does is it causes a person to become hard-hearted and coarse. They seem robot-like, and that's a very important thing. They become like robots. So they seem like robot-like, and they have a nonchalant attitude of whatever. Like they don't, like, whatever, man, whatever, dude. Kind of a negative, whatever. It's very cold. They're incapable of being moved to pity or tenderness, and they're very unfeeling. So they really don't care if someone gets hurt. They're like, oh, okay, whatever, man, you want to go to lunch? And that was one of the red flags for me. I was like, dude, that person just got hit by a car. Like, do you not care? Oh, I've got it. Oh, man, I got one. Hold on. All right, so when I was in my mid-20s, I was dating this girl, and for quite a while, actually. And me, her, and her 2 friends, we went to a club in the city, right, San Francisco. And we get out of the car, we park our car, walk through the parking lot, we're walking up the entryway and almost to the steps, and right at the bottom of the steps, it's only about 5 or 6 steps up to the door. Now there's a bouncer there. I think there's 2 bouncers, if I remember right, and there's no one else there. These other girls just walked past ahead of us. And there was a guy, he was a white guy, on the ground, and he was bleeding, and his girlfriend, his Asian girl, was just screaming, crying, and the dude was dead. I mean, if he wasn't dead, then he was just out. But he got shot in the chest, and he was bleeding profusely, and my girlfriend's, come on, let's go. I'm like, I go, whoa, I go, holy shit. And so the bouncer, I'm just looking at him like, what happened? And he goes, oh, he got shot. I'm like, well, yeah. I go, but have you called for help? He's like, no. And I'm like, what? And my girlfriend grabs and she goes, just ignore that. Let's go. That should have been the biggest red flag on the planet. He just got shot about 15 seconds before we walked up, and they didn't give a shit. They walked in the club, hey, what's going on? Smiling and dancing, and I mean, they were happy as could be. So we go to the second floor, and I'm not feeling safe in this place at all. Now, it was an Asian club. My girlfriend and her friends were Asian. We go to the second floor. We're looking down on the dance floor, and I'm kind of looking around. I'm like, hey, man, you know, what do you think that guy got shot? She goes, oh, wrong place, wrong time. I'm like, what are you talking about? Now, I'm getting dirty looks from all the dudes in this club. I mean, hard looks. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, he's a white dude at an Asian club. And I looked at her and go, I'm a white dude in an Asian club. And she looks at me, she goes, and she grabs, she goes, hey, we got to get out of here. They're like, why? I go, dude, Mike's white. And look at, you know, and she was, they're like, so? I'm like, you know, guy shot outside, blah, and they're like, oh, shit. So we all left. Okay, on to the next one. So number 6. So the spirit of Leviathan blocks the Holy Spirit in your life. So the scales so Leviathan is essentially a dragon with scales, right? Like a lizard or whatever. So the scales won't let the Holy Spirit in, blocking him out, so blocking the Spirit of God out. In fact, the scales block the expression of the real person trapped inside of them too. So it's kind of like an inner prison. So if you've dealt with a person with the spirit of Leviathan, i.e. a narcissist, it's like they can't really express themselves. They're not very creative. They're not very emotional. They're just kind of trapped inside, okay? I'm gonna leave that one like that because I think... Okay, I want to add one thing to that. So number 1, most of you on this channel, I mean like 80-90+%, you don't have to worry about that because you were attacked by one of these people. But the narcissist you dealt with, the spirit was actually inside them, okay? So for you, you need to just find your happiness, love, and joy once again. Now you're going to go through a dark phase where I call it the wall of China, where you have walls around, you don't open up to people. Your body and your unconscious mind is processing all the lies, the manipulation, gaslighting, and you're starting to reevaluate everything that you've believed. Because empaths were nice to everyone, and what we assume, well, everyone's just like us, and we have this realization, well, wait a minute. That's not like me at all. I would never do something like that in a million years. So your whole belief system is getting reevaluated, restructured, and rebuilt. And trust me, even though you're in a dark place, it will turn out a lot better. You come out into the sunlight, I promise you, I'm there now, and life becomes a lot better. You deal with people a lot better. All of a sudden, narcissists, here's what happens. You start to realize they're actually not that big. It's like the what do they call it, the big wolf, and oh, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your, and that's why these stories are made, because it's like the Wizard of Oz. He was this little tiny man. They are pipsqueaks. When you come out of that darkness, you're going to be a lot more powerful, because you're going to, wait a minute, these guys aren't that scary. No, they really aren't once you see it. It was all a mind game from the very beginning, and when you realize that, see, they constantly use these tactics to put you in a fear state, and that's how they did it. That's how they got control of your mind and started to scare you and intimidate you and push you around. Once you see through that, you pop out. Now, for narcissists or people that have the spirit of Leviathan, it's like literally like, Jesus was taking demons out of people. You need to find someone who can take that out of you. And I'll recommend again, you have to turn yourself over to God 100% completely. That spirit inside you is going to battle to the death. It's going to flip out, but you don't have any other choice if you want to get rid of that spirit. Okay, next up is number 7, proud, haughty, and arrogant. Now, who does that sound like? Sounds like the narcissist. And yet the churches are not making the connection. If they are, I have yet to hear anyone talk about it. Maybe there's some, but it should be on a global, massive, wide scale. Not just Christian churches, but Buddhist and every on the planet. Because this is happening on every level, including our governments. And holy shit, it is suspect as hell. Period. End of sentence. Even Jesus, when he was dealing with the religious leaders, These were bad people. These were people that had the spirit of Leviathan. These were even, I just watched another video of The Chosen. All right, so here I'm going to read off. So he says, "You Pharisees, you cleanse the outside of a cup and the dish, and then you eat and drink food that goes into the body, that inside is full of greed and wickedness." And he's pointing at their stomach area while he's saying that. So then he goes on to say, "You fools, did he not who made the outside make the inside also?" And of course the Pharisee got really pissed and said, "Take it back." And Jesus says, "No, I'm not. I'm just getting started." So here's the thing. First of all, the parable is talking about the inside being the, Jesus says, look within. That's inside your body, inside your heart and your emotions. That's the right brain. The left brain is the outside external. Now, these people that are left brain, that's all they care about is the outside world because they're not connected to their right brain. Thus, they're not connected to their internal world. And thus, it makes them very cold. There's no compassion. They're very prideful and egotistical, and they're haughty, etc., etc., everything that a narcissist is. And that's what these people are all about. That's why they shame you all the time. So they think everything is about rules. And again, the left brain is about, it processes through rules, structure, and organization. So that's all it sees, black or white, right or wrong. And then Jesus goes on to say about, the greater part of the law is about love and compassion and justice and forgiveness, which is a right brain process. Here's my message. This is my point. The churches haven't changed, and if you guys can't see that, you are blind. I'm not saying all churches, but the majority of churches on a big scale. It's like there needs to be a massive shift because, okay, here's what I believe. The reason why Christ went through what he went through, what the disciples went through, they were brutalized just as much as Christ. If you don't know that, you got to look that up in the Bible. Everything that he fought for is now coming to pass right now. People are starting to wake up to all the abuses in the churches and the right or wrong, the black or white thinking, and that has nothing to do with Christ. I'm going to make a separate video on that. It's getting us off track here. I'm going to make another video. It's going to be a lot shorter about that very specific piece. Okay, let me wrap this up and just read it off. So it's proud, haughty, and arrogant. The spirit of Leviathan operates mainly through a prideful spirit. Often people become prideful because of a past rejection and trauma. The spirit of pride offers them the lie of power and a false sense of identity. It whispers you are really somebody, you are special and not like anyone else. It causes the person to commit idolatry via self-worship, okay? So again, this is just like a narcissist. The spirit of pride offers them the lie of power and a false sense of identity. They have a mask. They're false. They're fake. Okay, number 8. The spirit of Leviathan is the whispering liar. Once again, just like a narcissist who stabs you in the back and talks behind your back. This spirit whispers lies and implants thoughts which encourage false accusations against people, particularly those who are in positions of authority. It will plant outrageous seeds that are complete distortion or twisting of the truth, and then hammer those thoughts over and over again. So one thing I want to say is this: a narcissist, whether it's the head of the family or a group of friends, anyone who comes in with truth and light, someone who has any level of healthy self-esteem, is a threat to them. And that is the thing that most of us got caught off guard, because we're just happy, we're supportive of them, we're very friendly, we're good to them, we help them, and we're the ones that they've been going after behind our backs, and the whole time we didn't know it. Now here's why. You are a threat to them. So when, as I said earlier in the video, when my mom's boyfriend Mikey got involved in my kickboxing and started coming to the gym, that in my mom's eyes, like, uh-oh, those two are getting close, which means they're going to start talking. See, one of the things that they don't want people to share information like, hey, so-and-so said this about you and so-and-so said this about you, or they did this and that, because then you'll start to figure out the game. You'll start figuring out what they're doing. So my brother Joey shared a couple pieces of information when I was fairly young that helped me to kind of start seeing what was going on behind the scenes. Like, man, they do that. He's like, yeah. Well, that's what these narcissists, the leaders, they don't want us to know this stuff. When we start seeing these pieces, all of a sudden we make the connections. Each piece of the puzzle connects and we start seeing the bigger and bigger picture, and then we're on to them. And that's where we are at right now as a society. We are dividing those who want to stay in the lie, because those people have the spirit of Leviathan. They are narcissists. They are demons, okay? And then there's the rest of us saying, no, I'm seeing what's going on finally. And this is what the whole purpose of Christ was all about. He knew that it wasn't going to happen overnight, that it was going to take a long time for all of this to come full circle. And we are now at that point. Okay, number 9, the spirit of Leviathan is contentious. Okay, so Leviathan uses contentiousness and misunderstanding to destroy communication between people and also with God. This causes a major division in relationships and people. If not stopped, the spirit will keep hammering on the division with his manipulation and lies until the relationship is destroyed. Now, I've already talked about a couple of my relationships where I gave you good examples like Mikey and kickboxing and my exes, etc. So this will continue. They don't do it just once, but they'll keep feeding, whispering sweet nothings in people's ears, your girlfriend, your husbands, your wives, and it will ruin the relationship. This is why it's important that the husband and the wife, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, speak to each other about every single thing that is being said to them from other people about their partner. If you don't do this, it will destroy your relationship. This is if you get into another relationship, start dating someone right off the bat, maybe not the first date, but you have to pull them aside and say, hey, we need to talk about this. Because if you don't do it early on, I promise you, someone is going to get in their ear, especially if you're an empath. Number 10, lifts up leaders in order to crush them. All right. So the spirit of Leviathan lifts up leaders in order to crush them. Because Leviathan wants to do as much damage as possible to destroy covenant relationships, it tries to involve as many people as possible. What better way to do that than to target leaders and influencers and turn people against them? So be careful of marriage and family and close friends whispering stuff into their ear. There are narcissists everywhere. Now, I don't want you to be paranoid about that. I just want you to be aware of it. And the people that are close to you in business, in work, in life, in relationships, you need to talk to them about this. Hey, if someone comes to you and they talk crap behind me, I want you to let me know who it is so I can confront them. Or you should confront them together. Okay, with the spirit of Leviathan comes depression. Alright, so I want to explain this a little bit. So there's a twofold thing to this. So a lot of empaths have suffered depression. That doesn't mean that you have the spirit of Leviathan. So for people that are narcissistic that take on the spirit of Leviathan, they will go through a depressive state. They will be very depressed. It's very dark. It's very sad. It's very lonely. Now you've been getting attacked by family members, friends, co-workers, and you're surrounded by people that have been beating you down until you start to see them. Now, once you start to see, and they can see that, they'll go on the attack even more. But the longer you stay strong, the more they're like, wow, this person is like not backing down, because they want you to go back to sleep, okay? So here's the deal. If you suffer from depression, it's not because you took on the spirit of Leviathan. It's because you were being attacked your entire life and didn't know what was going on. So when you start to wake up to this, it's a very scary thing to see, and it's very dark, like Dark Night of the Soul, or the tower collapsing, etc. You go through a dark phase that will take 2+ years, 3, maybe even 4. Now, I got through it about, I'd say 3 years and a month or 2. Like, I'm living in the light. I'm walking in the sun now. I'm a lot happier than I've ever been in my life, and I'm a lot more powerful. Here's the thing I'm trying to say. This is the light at the end of the tunnel that you've heard about your whole life. Because here's the deal. Years and years ago, I didn't know what was going on. I'd go to Tony Robbins seminars and go to therapy and this, and it helped, and I learned things. But until I really understood who was attacking me, how to recognize what a narcissist is, and that's what this video is all about. Like, hey, here's the signs to let you know these are people with the spirit of Leviathan. So now I can just get away from them now, and thus life's a lot better. It's a lot easier because I see the game now. I understand who's doing it, why they're doing it, and what they're doing. And by the way, if you don't think that the narcissist is suffering, trust me, they suffer from deep bouts of depression. In fact, they've suffered from deep bouts of depression before they ever met you. In fact, the reason why they approached you, talked to you, and pulled you in was because you were happy and they wanted that happiness. So when you first met them, believe it or not, but they were super depressed, stressed, and going through a massive conflict. The only time they're happy is during the love bombing phase. They are happy. They are feeling this energy. Everything is good. But that's only lasts about 2 months or less. They may love bomb you to 3 months or so. Usually it's a little bit sooner than that and they start devaluing you. But here's the deal. It's very short-lived because they start getting paranoid. They start, all the distrust because they're screwed up people and they don't trust anyone. So trust me. Even after you leave, they go through that. It's even before you leave. They are freaking out, and that's why they're trying to beat you down. All right, number 12, master of blame and self-pity. Again, who does that sound like? A narcissist. All right, let's wrap it up with this. So because the leading way that a Leviathan spirit operates is through pride, you will see it rear its ugly horns when fault comes its way. It can't be wrong or at fault for anything. It's too good for that, and it's above it all. So again, narcissists are unbelievably sensitive people. They take responsibility for nothing. And the thing is, they don't want to get blamed for anything, even if it's obvious they did it. Even if you've got it on recorded video and audio, they'll, oh, well, I didn't mean that, or, well, that really wasn't me, or they will excuse the hell out of it. So again, who does that sound like? That sounds like a narcissist. Alright, God bless you guys. Thank you for listening to this video. If you like the video, click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment, and if you want, go ahead and make a donation. There is a PayPal link right there in the description box below the video. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. This concludes this video, and the video is over. Thank you very much.